Okay, so good morning. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching, doing the market preview for 12/18/2025. So first, let's go do, let's just reset ES really quick. This, and I'll do this. So, dun, 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 erase lines. I'll just mark off the important areas on ES. Obviously, that's going to end up being Globex low. It should automatically mark off on your charts already. Um, Here, I just want to get through this quickly. So, um, let's look at levels below. It goes, and ES is just not weak. Goes this, this. I think that's probably sufficient for today. And then below, we've got, let's put our little yellow line so we know what's available underneath. And we go and see what's behind door number 2. And here we go. It goes like this. Sorry. It goes white. That's the more important one right there. So I'll make it thicker just so we can make a distinction. So the 24-hour low is the more important low, just FYI. Okay. I'm just going to denote it by the thickness of the line. It's going to go like this. And like that. And that gets us over and under. There you go. And that is what our day looks like minus this. Okay. And there's Globex high, Globex low. And obviously, if you look to the left, we are poorly auctioned on ES all the way up to, I would say, yesterday's actual high, right? And then the scene of the crime goes all the way back to 68.82. All of this can be easily traded through because we already know the evidence exists and it'll repeat, right? So I'm going to print this. Those are your key trap levels or targets up above, okay? So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. With ES. Did it not print when I posted that link? I don't understand that. It was there. It should be there, right? Here, we'll do it one more time. I don't know why it's disappearing. Okay, something really cool. If you will take your 1 minute chart, okay, so two things. If you want a smoother VWAP to decide how you're going to trade, so that's the one that started at 7 a.m., just take it and restart your chart time at 1700 to 1659.59, and you end up with this. That's what the VWAP looks like now. Okay, I don't know which one's better, so I'm welcoming anyone who wants to review it or tell me which they see as smoother or which argument for or against. And then, so I'm monitoring it, right? I don't have a clear answer. I don't have a clear answer. But one of the big problems is that even Asia VWAP now is like a mile and a half below us at 25.068. Okay, so that being said, what I want to point out this morning, last day of testing, and then I'll send this out tomorrow to the close. I wouldn't run it Christmas week, like after Christmas, maybe. It depends on how much volatility we have, but I wouldn't run it Christmas week. Um, okay, so if you look at, this is a 5 minute chart with our algos on it. Chart. Attach chart window. Where'd it go? There we go. Okay, and what you will see is something pretty interesting. Okay, so I want you to look yesterday. So all you have to do to make this chart is take your 1 minute and flip it to a 5 minute. Duplicate it and change it to a 5 minute chart. If you don't know how to do that, message me. I think everyone does, but there's some newer people in the room. So if you don't know how to do it, message me and I will send you a little short, brief video on how it's done. So what I want you to show you, and I made a video on this, and of course it did not work. Okay, so these all have the algos on it, and it's very simple, right? You can tell when they're the stars. The stars tell me something, but I'm not going to go through and explain them. What I am going to explain is these little blue marks. That's what we're going to focus on since we are limited on time for me to go through this, okay? But here's how this works. I'm going to throw out the first 10 minutes, let's say, right? Or the first 5 minutes. But you'll see here, see after the open, usually the opening bar is going to be the highest volume of the day. It's not in this case. So yesterday it was this bar right here. I'm going to isolate on it. One mark to the left, one mark to the right. That bar right there is your highest volume bar. Okay. So in order to go higher, when you get that, you must trade above 25,334 to 25,243. So if we scoot over and look at this morning, you will see we went right to 25,243 and 25,334 is the resistance up there. You may want to mark off the point of control in addition to that, right? So then if you go back over here, let's get over, and you mark off yesterday. Let's say you had no support resistance lines. You're just using the intraday volume to make your decisions, which is fine, right? Your next highest volume bar comes here. So I'm going to just mark one bar to the right so you know which bar I'm looking at. So I'm looking at that white bar. Then I'm looking at this green bar right here. And in order to go higher, okay, and I'm going to demonstrate this to you in a second, you must get a close above that bar. This bar now becomes the resistance zone, and you'll see if you drew a zone between the point of control and the bottom of that bar when there's a wick, that usually becomes the resistance on that bar. Now, as you scoot over, right, it's later in the day, so volume's going to fall off. This guy now becomes your mark, okay? Put a line to the left, put a line on top, put a line on bottom, okay? Then as you progress, you will see we did not get a bigger volume bar, right? We did not get a bigger volume bar than that till about right on the close, right? So I would throw this bar out. That was the closing bar, but the bar before it was still valid. So obviously, basically that 24,984 3/4 became resistance. So then you can see as we go into Asia, right? You can see that basically that they could not get an orthodox close above that. And you'll see once they did, so what an orthodox close means is that the bar had no physical contact with the plane, the top plane or the bottom plane of the bar that set that level. This is the bar that set that level. Normally what you would want is this, this, and this. I don't think you're going to get the backside test here. Let's see. You don't. And you can see, look where it went. It went right to the prior volume bar that we had marked off, which was 25,101 to 25,121. That, right, 25,101 to 25,163. That is mind over markets Dalton. We travel from volume to volume in a profile, right? I'm just laying out the profile differently, okay? If you continue to watch, you will see that we then got over 25,163, and where did we travel to? 25,243. And it's just using volume to travel from point to point, right? The only thing we're not getting here is the backside test. But you will notice during the trading session, right, that if each time when we were trending down, right, as we were trending down, you will notice we closed underneath. This was yesterday. So now I'm going to translate that to our 24 tick chart. This is chart number 2. Okay. So now if I come over here, how do I want to do this? Right click, duplicate chart, chart settings, chart drawings, chart number 2. Okay. Okay, there it is. So now if you will look during the US session yesterday, right? So now look how your market traded when you were up against those levels. Okay, so come back over here. There's your open drive lower. So this is your first level up here, right? That was the first level, and you'll see once we closed underneath it, backside tested, rejected off the top of it. That's this area up here. That's where we had to break above this in order to go higher. You'll see it ran right into VWAP and rejected, right? How did I figure this out? Because we've been talking about it. This isn't like I discovered it last night. Bill and I have been going back and forth over it for quite a while, right? Trying to figure out, well, how do we use it? What does it look like? Et cetera, et cetera. So that's the first 5-minute high volume level with throwing in, and the only rule to that is throughout the first 5 minutes, because it's almost always, with the exception of yesterday, going to be the highest volume bar, right? So then we come down here. This is where the next 5-minute bar gets established, right? Should have been right in here somewhere, because that's where I start the line. So it's somewhere right in here, right? So you will see now there's 3 lines. This line is the point of control to the bottom of the wick, and this is the top of the bar. So now you'll see as we're pressing back up into that 5 minutes, right? This is 940, how we're rejecting out of the bottom of that bar. So the next question, right? The next natural question is, okay, I've gotten below that 5-minute bar. I don't do that until 952, right? So now go look. Sometimes it backside tests, sometimes it doesn't, right? So if you'll look, the only signal I get, so if I went through based on my signals that I have, right? And there's multiple ways to look at the signals, but if you look, I got this white bar with a circle down. It stopped, right? No problem. I don't get another algo in that I get a white bar with a blue dot down, but that did not come on a turn, and I finally get the white bar with the turn. So if you look at all the algos, it goes like this, in the direction of. It goes stop, win, green bar down, right? I'm just showing the algos. I'm not saying what sequence we should take them in, or if it has to be a turn bar, everyone knows what their trade plan is, right? White bar with blue dot down, stop, right? And then white bar on the turn, paid, right? But the important part of that is that you knew or had a pretty good idea of where resistance was going to come from, right? Now as you continue, here's the next test up, and you will see sometimes we simply don't get the algo out of it on maybe a 24, right? But let me do one more thing here. Sometimes when you go up just a few ticks, like if you go to a 32, what doesn't show up on the 24 because of speed or lack of volume will show up on the 32 or on the 40. So same chart, 32 tick, right? And this is what you got. White bar stuffed, right? It didn't give us any of the algos there. So then just do the next thing, right? Go chart settings, collect more data, see if it requires more data in order to get your information, right? So now I just go to a 40 tick in the same area, and it may not have produced a signal, right? But there's finally the signal we were looking for, right? If you see underneath, there's the 40 tick and it fell away. It took a while to get that, right? And then you'll see as we're coming across here, right, that we're getting rejection down. And now this is the new 5-minute level right here in the afternoon. This is right here, this little area is what generated this 5-minute bar, okay? And you will see that once we were in there, rejections out. What had to happen is you had to get over that to trend up, is what I'm trying to say. So then if you go through Asia, right, you'll see this is the first orthodox close above. It failed. Right here on the 40, I'm going to do the same thing with the 24 in just a second. This is the first orthodox close above. See how there's, well, technically you could have said this, but it's clear here. There's negative space underneath that bar. I would consider it that bar, right? came back down, swept through, right? Now here is the second time you get an orthodox close above, right? And you will see now that almost all your bars up, it also got above VWAP, it also got above its 100, also got above its 200, and it travels right to where resistance is, and then they try to reject out of that resistance area, and obviously it failed after 7 o'clock, but you can see that it held, and then you can see once we got above 25,121, we traveled to, the whole bar was 25,944 to 25,984, and then you can see once we got above, we traveled through. Sorry for all the lines, but it's copying from one chart to the other, so that's why they're all, I think that's why they're all there. Okay, so I just wanted to show you on a 40 tick. Sometimes you have to look on another bar to get it, but what that gives me, or what that tells me is, no matter what chart I'm trading on, and I'm going to get rid of that chart. No matter what chart I'm trading on, I'm going to go back to the 24th. This is what it looked like overnight. Same levels, right? I didn't replace the levels. So I'm coming off the low. And now you can see in the afternoon, see once we closed underneath there, once we closed underneath, this white bar down fails, right? The white bar off the top works. They obviously grind through there. And that is all you had was that white bar. So if you look, it was really one stop because this holds you within 24 points. Then it's this bar, and this bar finally rolls you down to the low at the end of the day, and then Micron Technology comes out. You open up just over or just on top, no orthodox close. That, I would say, was your first orthodox close right there. Right, so what I would have done there, let me tell you how that would have worked if I'd been trading Asia. Okay. Once I got this, I'm looking for the bar up, right? I probably would have tried, I don't trade Asia because it's hard, right? This and this, right? Just hold on for me. This is your second clear impulse move above, right? I'm now looking for my longs. I'm going to take that orange bar, and you'll also notice, right? You'll also notice if you go back and you employ what Dan does, right? We break the swing here, right? Pull 3 bars back, green bar up. We still have broken the swing, right? So now you're looking for your algo back, orange bar up. We go up, green bar up, and white bar up, depending on how you had your stop situated. That's how that trade worked. And now, right, notice we get into resistance, right? See how it's getting up there and rejecting around 7 in the morning? Because that's a zone. The 25,121 is the point of control. The 25,163 is the 25,163 is the point of control of that 5-minute bar. And then it's the high of that 5-minute bar, and the 25,121 is the point of control. We then go supernova again. See that? This is supernova. This is all econ, right? But then if you look, pull back, essentially holds the swing, right? Right there. Green bar up. You're looking for 3 bars back, and you don't get the algo. You get an engulfing bar, and you could argue technically that you broke the swing. And now here's where we are right now. And we are just sitting there working through Globex high, and that 25,243 to 25,338 up there is resistance. That's what the 5-minute is used for. And all of that came off of, right? All of that came off of simply looking at your 5-minute chart, right? Simply looking at your 5-minute chart and going, oh, this is supply and this is demand, where the volume is, right? So all you're doing now this morning, unless you want to leave the old data there. So I suggest you just wipe out the prior day's data once the day starts and just go look overnight, right? So if you look clearly, in order to go lower, we're going to have to trap these guys right here. That is now the bull bear line, 25,107.50. We have to be underneath that in order to go lower. Once we got on top here, right? See, these 2 volume bars are equal, right? So what I'm going to look for after the open is my highest volume bar up here, right? It can be down or up, doesn't matter. And I'm going to create a zone out of it, and then I'm going to look for the signals coming out of that. And I'm going to want everything to kind of go in conjunction with what's going on in there, right? In addition, I would take this, I'll add VWAP later, but I would add VWAP to the mix in here just to give you some guidance, right? But you know you have to get underneath 25,107.50. And then what you do, once you get underneath, resistance becomes between there and the point of control at 25,167. It is a big area, right? So you still have to get structure and all the other things. I do not want to hear anyone going, I shorted 25,107 and got stopped for 60 points. That is ridiculous. Just put the rest of the process in place, but you know where the volume is, right? If you go further overnight, right, you're looking for get rid of that first bar, right? So if you get rid of that bar, it's quite clear that this guy right here has the most volume overnight, okay? That bar, put it like this. If you want to combine the two bars, since they were pretty much back to back, you can make its own. But that guy had the most volume. It is likely, sorry, I drew the line on it instead of around it. It is likely that when we get to that bar, there will be some kind of attempt, right? If you highlight it like this, there'll be some kind of attempt, and that'll be an over-under on that bar for the breakout or for a response back up at 25,008 to 24,985. And to show you how that works, I'm going to go back so that it's not just a one-day wonder. Okay, I will go to last Friday. Okay, so let's do all the same pieces. We'll do them intraday. Okay, so when I am looking, right, I'm going to watch I'm going to spread this out. Where's my little, it always ends up where I cannot see it. There we go. Same idea, right? Okay, so we open up. I'm going to throw out the opening bar. It's this. This is the highest volume of the day. Okay, so I'm going to wait 5 minutes and I'm going to go to 840. Okay, I'm going to let them do what they got to do. Here's 840 right there. And then I'm going to look for my highest volume bar. My highest volume bar was this one, right? It went like this. It went this one, then it went this one right here, and then it's finally this bar right here. That's all I have to look at. So at 9:10, right, one bar to the left, this becomes roughly my support resistance bar. Okay, as we're moving along to the left, I can see that I get a new bar, this guy right here. I'm just going to mark it off, right? And I'm going to put a zone right there. By the way, the ECB person is speaking at 8:30. If I have this right, let me look real quick. And they always never seem to be quite on time, but I have ECB president deposit rate, U.S. initial jobs claim. ECB president speaks at 7:45 with Legrand. Then Legrand speaks again at 9:15. She can move the market. Okay, just FYI, she can move the market. So it's 7:45 and 9:15. I would stay relaxed through that period of time. You don't have to press there, right? But don't be surprised if it just jumps for no reason, up or down, right? Okay, so if you will look then, right, you can see we get an orthodox close underneath, right? We close underneath, and that starts to become resistance underneath there. You'll see once they got back over the point of control of that bar, they try to use it for support, right? They couldn't get an orthodox close above, and they roll back down. And then as they roll back down through the course of the day, right? So you're going to adjust. That was the morning point of control. Then you see you get this surge right here, right? So now you end up with two overlapping bars. Just mark it off. It's like this, okay? And then you will see that once we got underneath there, we had the buyers trapped or the volume trapped, right? Then we come down, and then this is 1420, and then this is the late afternoon highest volume bar. It's this guy right here, right? And then you would say, okay, underneath there we go lower, above. Now look how it handled each area, right? So we go into Asia, right? They start pushing. They push all the way up to where the volume overlapped. Rejection, rejection, rejection. It's got to get above there to go higher, right? And you'll see they almost make it right back to 25,680, right? And then you're going to adjust as they set new volume areas through the course of the day, right? That's all you're going to do. You're just going to use your process and go, hey, do I have someone trapped above or do I have someone trapped below, to help balance out, to see where the sway in responses or where the sway in to see where the sway and responses are, or see where the sway in the where the tracks or the footprints of the volume are sitting, right? And then you just wipe the slate clean again and start over the next day. So what I suggest this morning, right, is you see the area where there's the most volume, right? So obviously, right, until more volume gets put in, I would put a zone in like this. Color it some color that makes it easy to distinguish, that you know what you're looking for. Now it's a wide zone, right? That it covers 100 points, right? So then you have to translate it either with the 1 minute chart, or you have to translate it with your process, right? Supernova back. But what I would do is I would just observe, because Bill's been pointing that I've had about 2-3 weeks of solid observation to observe it. So I have a pretty good idea of that. I know how it works, right? And my guess would be the first time back at the top of the bar, it's going to get a response. At the point of control, it's going to get a response. And at the bottom bar, it's going to get a response. Then the inverse once it gets underneath, right? The bottom, the point of control. And then if you can get up there at 25,202, and the most important part is the point between the point of control and the bottom of the bar, right? If it was a down bar, it would be inverse. Okay. So that's my 2 cents about what I'm adding. Other than that, I cannot emphasize how important it is to stay on process. It works with ES, by the way, as well, same way. Okay. I cannot say how important it is to stay on process. 25,107, I think, is the most important bar, or the most important point on this whole chart today. Below there, you're going to go back and retest the lows if they can't recapture the top of that 25,167. And it's getting pretty close to Christmas, right? People are going to start to leave. Okay. So watch and make sure that the price action meets your requirements. And I'm also going to be focusing on Dan's process on Supernova, 3 bars back, and Algo up. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about how to do that or how to copy this over on the charts? I'll leave the 5 minute up here, and then everyone has the 1 minute. So I'll let everyone do the 1 minute on their chart. I'll keep my 1 minute on a separate screen. And I think that'll make it more relaxed for most people, is generally my impression on that. But that 25,107, 25,107, that is the most important line on this chart for me right now. Period. End of sentence. Right? There's just nothing more important on that. No, I don't want that. I want the one above it. Let's see if I can get picture perfect. And pretty classic. They all trap themselves overnight. Here, and I don't have the bottom marked out. It's not 107. I missed it by an inch. It's 104. Line width, 10, color. What's a color we don't usually use? Chart drawing properties, color. We'll use, because I'm a Longhorn fan. No, that won't work. We'll use light pink. There we go. I don't use that very much. That is the most important line for up or down on this chart today, because you get underneath it and you're going to have all those people trapped, right? So we'll see how that plays out on the chart today. Other than that, you have your first hour high, low, etc., 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 and Globex high and low, and prior days high and low, and let the market tell you what it wants to do. Clearly, shorts got trapped yesterday, right? Clearly, they've got trapped. You can see it if you just look on the hourly chart. They're just V-shaping it, right? We came down, we consolidated. People thought, oh, it's all over. I wish I could short overnight. See ya, up it goes, and everyone gets paid. And that's how that's going to work. Okay, so the logical answer to that is, if they really want to squeeze them back, they're going to take them all the way back to 25,500, right? That purple, that 25,385 is a weak zone, okay? If you want to get over it, and then the extended target is 25,667 and above, okay? Which takes us all the way back for a full turn from Monday all the way to Wednesday, and then they can come back and squeeze them. And if they get over that, they have plenty of targets above to squeeze up if they want to. Okay. Market switches day by day. It doesn't have to be bullish or bearish. It's just which side has favor, and that's how we should trade it. So if anyone has any questions on that, let me know. We'll see if Top Step goes down. To their credit, so yesterday, to their credit, they crushed me with a. So I usually trade 5 micros in those accounts to 10 if I'm up, right? And I put an order in for 5 micros, and it filled me for 25 micros. Lots of fun, right? I didn't lose my cool, but it handed me a $500 loss. And to their credit, they gave it back to me. They gave me back the $500. So I ended up with a good day yesterday. I was up 900, and then they added by the end of the day, and then they added 500 to the 900. And I guess that's cool. I just prefer that their machine work, that they don't have the problems that they have. It's really hurting their brand. It's amazing that he did so good running that company, and man, he just trashed himself. That's all there is to it. So, anyways, let's get to work. We'll see where the volume lays in. Here's the 5 minute chart. You have the 1 minute chart. It works the same way. It's the exact same concept, right? If you take it to the 1 minute, it would do the same thing you did on a 15 minute, but eventually you end up with a monstrous chart, right? So start big, and then you go to your algos for the entry once you know which way your bias is, right? And obviously right now there's nothing that tells me it's short. 96 to 38 is old. I guess I did not erase that for some reason. What's that coming off of? I don't know why I have 96 to 38 highlighted there. It's not highlighted on this 5 minute bar. So is it coming from? I don't know what that's coming from. I apologize. I'll erase it. Obviously, that's the first 5 minute, uh, uh, first hour low and 5 minute low, right? So that's your basis for. That's the first sign that there'll be weaknesses. We'll get underneath that 5 minute low, right? This is trend up. We're already in trend up. We're open drive higher. We are over the 100. We are over VWAP. We are over the 200. And there's nothing on that chart yet. Sorry. There's nothing on that chart yet that says bearish, right? There's nothing on that chart yet that says bearish. You'll see this will be the first bar. The first bar of the day is usually the highest volume bar. I think that's the bar you have to get under to really go, oh, the market's in trouble here. Right? And I have learned my lessons over time going, I have said, oh, there's no way they can run it straight up. There is. Wait for structure. Okay, that's my strongest suggestion is wait for structure to set up intraday so that you're not having to play chase. Also, the other thing I'm going to say to the room, if I say this is pretty hard, right? That's usually my call sign for saying, hey, be cautious on how many trades you're taking. Don't get buried. If I call out and say, man, this is hard, like I rarely say, man, this is hard, but and look at your 5 minute chart. This is where if anyone had difficulty yesterday, this is where you had difficulty. See this? Know what your chart normally looks like so you can tell when it's weird. This right here, for a whole hour where every 5 minute bar folded over the other 5 minute bar, that's weird. Okay? It's not that it can't happen, there's nothing wrong with it happening. It is almost impossible to trade profitably, right? Because we're just slamming one 5 minute bar up, one 5 minute bar down, one 5 minute bar up, one 5 minute bar down, and it can drive you nuts. If you see that, I would suggest you stop, right, until it decides which way it wants to break out of that, right? It does not happen a lot. It happens overnight, but it is damn rare. If you go through a bunch of days, you will have a very hard time finding that pattern in the first 2 hours of the day. Be very, very difficult. Okay, it's unusual. So if you're keeping up with break of the swing has to be broken all the way down here, right? That's the break of the swing. We have the NASDAQ up 375 points, ES up 62. It's also been my experience when the Nasdaq's up this much, right? Go look at how your trading days are. Mine are not great for the most part. Okay, mine are not great when we open up 400 points on NQ, right? So I'm going to be very selective this morning and very technical in how I enter my trades. And I'm going to really think it through. I don't want to have a bad day going into the end of the week, right? I've done okay this week, not great, okay, right? But we're up 378. S&P is only up, the ES is up 64, right? I think that almost completely wipes out yesterday's loss on ES. Let's go look. And again, the tradition continues, right? The logical answer to that is take out that entire hourly bar. I didn't take out all of yesterday, but close, right? Close. That's the logical answer, right? Is take out this hourly bar, if not all the way back up to 68.71. Okay, so we'll see, or get underneath this back below 6,800 to retest Globex low. Okay, and my guess is we probably end up with something in between. Okay, retest of the 5-minute low. And again, if you want a cleaner VWAP, just reset it. That's the right there. That is what we look like going from Asia VWAP, right? VWAP's way underneath here. We're over the 100. We are over the 200. We are over the Asian VWAP. Okay, they'll catch up sooner or later, but that's where we're at. Okay. And don't be surprised at anything they do. And also remember, you have ECB person speaking, right? I don't know if I see any comments. I do see comments from ECB coming across right at 8:30. And that 25,202, I would think, is getting begged to get tested. And we traded just underneath the 5-minute low there where we started. So you would say that broke the swing, right? 3 bars up, I'll go down, and you would look for lower pricing. If you're following that method, or you're waiting for 202 to get set, or you're waiting for us to go supernova to retest areas higher. And let me tell you, you've got to follow your trade plan. We are solving math problems here, is what we are solving. Okay? We are solving math problems. So no matter how you look at it, right, you're either trading the strongest bar is green square, blue dot, green square, white dot. That is the strongest bar we have here. If you will learn how they laid out, again, it's telling you where the strongest volume pushes are, right? It's telling you where the strongest volume pushes are. If you had to focus on one thing, that is what I would focus on. Does not work every time, but it works a lot of, right? And it usually tells you where you have the potential, especially on the turn, to get a very big extension. Okay? Usually. And if you don't like that 5-minute thing, just take it, wad it up, throw it away. Say see ya. Okay? So there's Globex high. There was an attempt above. This is trapped back in. I think the target's back to 25,202. And then 25,104 is my bull bear line for the day. Also, you've already given up the 62 retrace off the opening drive, right? And when we're in true open drive, trend day up, you do not lose that 62 retrace. Just FYI. Right back to 25, almost 202. Haven't quite gotten there yet. The point of control in there is 25,167. And there we are. And that is now open drive lower. They flipped the chart. Green bar up. Again, we are in inverse supernova, meaning to the downside. Right? We are still in the first 10 minutes of the day. That is a roll from 339 to 188. Has not gotten to the point of control yet. Has not gone supernova. Did get a response, and that's an apex trap. I'm going to start pointing out those apex traps, especially when they have a dot on them, because they've been lifting really nicely. Back up to the 100. That's a reversal bar, not engulfing, no algo on it. And I think they'd come down and test that 167. There's your push down here. That guy right there. Right into the low. You'd think they're going to come in and test that 167. Should act as a magnet. Man, they're pounding those guys who chase that up, aren't they? Purple bar up. Missed that 167 by a couple of hairs. Technically, you went supernova there, but right underneath VWAP. Trying to come out. They're trying to hold that bar is what they're trying to do. Again, still early, 8:43, so plenty of time. Ah, yeah, I see that, Ed. Good call. Lower lows, lower highs so far. Open drive lower. Did you grab it, Ed? or just observed it, which is fine either way. Just take it easy, guys. We'll find something today, and if we don't, you don't want to. Good job. Okay, then that's perfect. You followed your trade plan. Notice if we take out that first the IB low to this point, and we test that 167 and it traps back in above the 172, you could go back into balance to the top side and retest Globex high at 25,285. It's not bearish or bullish. It's just, it is what it is, right? It makes sense that they're trying to hold the top of this bar. Okay, it's retested the point where we got this last run from, right? And people are trying to hold it. The question is, can they? You would expect the opposite PA, if they get underneath it, that they're going to reject out of there in a general way. Okay, that's what you would expect. Double circle, green square down, that's usually pretty powerful, right? Johnny Jr., you should be seeing those green dots and making notes of them. Double green square, double green dot. Back in the VWAP. It's gone supernova, by the way. So if you take your next reversal bar, generally, uh, that'll go up. Again, you're in the first half hour, so what I do is note it and then put it to work afterwards. And see what happens, right? So if you're going to learn that process, right? First thing to do is do it with no pressure. Then do it with a little bit of size, then up your size as you gain confidence, right? Into the point of control. orange bar up, right? But it broke the swing. See that? And he wants it to hold above the swing. So, nope, but we did come in and test the point of control. And it trapped back into the prior load off to the left. Top of that 5-minute bar high, you're inside that range. Again, that top bar, the top of that bar is becoming resistance, is what's happening there. Okay? The top of that 5-minute bar. Back up into supernova. Now 3 bars back, green bar up, yada yada yada. Comes up against VWAP. And up she goes. So it's held the top of that 5-minute area pretty much exactly as we planned. Now you have to figure out how you want to trade it once you're in there, right? And obviously the bottom of the first 5 minutes, right there, that is going to become resistance. It's in supernova, 3 bars back. I'll go up, and you would expect it to retest back into that 5-minute bar, which is where all the volume is. Get above the 5-minute bar, now they're going to go higher above that, right? And they're going to play out those levels. I think that's easier than looking at the daily levels, but then you'll need some time to put all the pieces together. That's 2 bars back and white bar up. It's more risky. I would look for 3 bars back and white bar up, and then if you need exceptions to the rule, start taking notes of what works with 2 bars back and what you're willing to take risks on. The pointy control, by the way, is all the way up there on that first 5 minutes over here, all the way up to like 310, 314. Again, we're at 365. And ES is near its high of the day. Double green, green square, double green down, right? Back up towards 53.25. And they're obviously going to shoot for that Globex high if they're trying to figure out something to take out, right? Bigger picture retail traders will be looking for, hey, where's Globex high? And notice that it's getting pretty choppy again, and that's all right. Open the Globex high. Light bar down off of Globex high. So now you are looking for inverse supernova, right? If you are bearish, you're looking for it to break a swing. Nothing else. Staying calm, right? And finding your locations. It's all that pretty much matters. Back below Globex low. I mean, everyone who got left out to dry got left out to dry here, right? That's why everyone was on top when they were coming in early. So those guys got to get back above those guys, right? And they're obviously pushing to try to recover, but that's where everyone is stuck in between this Globex high and that 25.314 in the first hour high, right? That's where everyone's going to have to go, oh, hell, they're giving me a chance to get out, and I will take it. See that? You can know where people are trapped in general when they leave them behind. Everyone above that Globex high is trying to figure out how to get out of that trade. Now, that doesn't mean that stops it. It just means that's where they're trapped. They zipped above, they all bought, they all had to go, ugh, right? Now you need inverse supernova, and there's really not a clear swing there up and down on the 24 tick chart, right? And now we find out if they have any ability to push or not, right? They got to get over that Globex. and they put in a pretty good volume bar right there at 9 o'clock. The one on the 1 minute, if you look, the one you have to get underneath is this guy right here. He was your push down. See that? Oh, sorry. High. Oh, there. That's the guy they're working against right there. You're underneath them. You get over them, they're going to push. But you stay underneath them, he got himself stuck up there. Right? Back down. Now you've broken a swing. 3 bars up, bar down. And that is, I believe, how Dan does it. But the PA's got to move in order to give it to him, right? So if we just start trucking in one direction, yep. But give it time. We will get our trades. If you do not rush, and if you try to go like, hey, like if you look this morning, right, just go and start easy, right? Well, what if I took all double green bars with dots? Just start there, right? Double green bars, double green dots, double green dots, double green dots, double green dots. How did I do? Learn how that volume, which is what those dots are reflecting, and how the bid ask operates, how they're being able to push around. Like, see this? These 3 guys try to push down. 1, 2, they got beaten by this guy. Now they came and backside tested them, right? That's the bottom of that volume bar off the open, right? So you've got to get back underneath that first 5-minute bar, underneath 25,253, to come back and retest anything down here, right? So this guy tried to defend. That's 1, 2, 3 bars up with an engulfing bar down. I do not have that bar algoed, but I am positive Dan would short that. Now understand, Dan's looking for 5 to 7 points at his earliest scales, and then he takes it off if it doesn't flow. He wants it to pay him quickly, right? He wants it to pay him quickly, and he's not thinking about whether the market's going to go to a new high or a new low. He's just not going to short the high, and he's not going to buy the low. Okay? So in this case, right, Dan didn't get his 3 bars back over here, so he never got long in his most strictest form, right? So like every good trader, I'm sure he has adaptations to what he does, right? You've now certainly broken the swing here. That's the engulfing bar. Now you have to decide how to manage it. And then if you put additional knowledge, I've got to get below the 25,253, what you're playing for. If you're putting deeper knowledge in, is I got to get underneath the 25,253 to come back and retest the 25,202, right? That's what I have to do in order to get paid, right? That's what I have to do in order to get paid is I have to get underneath the 53, get past VWAP, 100, 200, and come back to 25,202. And sometimes those ideas or concepts are going to conflict, but you will work it out over time if you take detailed notes, right, over what works and what doesn't work. And you always bring it back from microstructure, double green dot, double green square, right? And then work your way down from that, right? Supernova, not supernova. Now how's the support resistance areas helping or hurting this, right? So now we're back underneath the first 5-minute low. The natural volume target would be 25,202 again, okay? The natural volume target would be 25,202, which is back to the scene of the crime, and then they're going to have to work it out. And we'll see if we just don't end up in balance between first hour low and that 20 and the first 5-minute high and Globex high up there, right? And we'll see who works what out in that case, right? That's what our choices are. Let's see how this is performing in this situation. Okay, not great. Not bad. Is this making sense and helping guys, or is it just confusing overlaying the additional process to it? Okay, it's making a lot of sense. Good, Jason. Thank you. Jason, it works the same way in Tesla, brother. The volume guys are going to mark the support resistance areas. I would just probably push to a 15-minute bar there to see where the real volume is over a wider time frame. Okay, up against VWAP. See how they're trying to get against it? And they're like, okay, we're trying, we're trying. But these guys have made pretty two good assaults on Globex high and have not completed. Now, if we get underneath first hour low, we're probably going to test the low of that 5 minute bar, and then we see from there what's what, right? Is this making sense, Ed? If you're listening, Johnny, this should start to make some sense, really, for everyone. Nate, I know you're off today, so you're trading. Joshua, good, cool. Dan, if I misrepresent what you're doing, brother, please just say, "Hey, Simon, you're getting it wrong," and correct me. Okay, you're the master at that trade. Cool, thank you. Back into the first five, back to the scene of the crime at 7:30. Some people are going to try and buy that bar, right? Again, if you're Dan, you're waiting for supernova before you go to work. If you're me, right, I'm going to either look for a volume push on the 1 minute to see that they're exhausting into it and then get over it, or I'm going to take my strongest algo out of there and go, well, I hope that works, right? But also, I'd like to be in alignment with the VWAP. So if you go look at the Asian VWAP, oops, sorry. Lo and behold, sitting right there at the first hour low now. So guess what? See, I don't know who's looking at what VWAP, right? That's why there's multiple VWAPs and multiple time frames. If you want an education in VWAP, it's what's Shannon's last name? Is it Mark Shannon or Shannon's his last name? He does this anchored VWAP thing. He's really great at it. That's where I would go to as a source. He's the best VWAP guy that I know of. Okay, but if you're going to start this thing and anchor it in Asia, which is what this is essentially anchored VWAP out of Asia, right? This first hour and that anchored VWAP, and I promise you somebody's looking at it. Okay, so that's that. I'm just taking peeks at it so I can figure out which one's better. Hard push in. The logical target is first hour low and that point of control again, and then we find out what's what. And guess what? If we impulse move underneath that first hour low, sellers will have it back. And ES is back below its RTH VWAP. And here's first hour low on ES. I'm going to add it to there. Oh, no, I don't want that. Well, I do, but that's not what I meant. and I'll add more to that as I go along. So there's first hour low and the VWAP on ES. I'll add prior day's high low to all that stuff as well. So this is 3 bars up, right? So they're trying to get it back above that first 5-minute bar. We're below VWAP, 100 crossing through VWAP, 200 underneath. Okay. Again, for a look from that Asia VWAP, that's what it looks like. They haven't quite hit that. I showed 25,220 as resistance now. Off the 1 minute, off that volume bar, that's the top of that bar. 02 to 220. Coming down, that was the biggest volume bar in that structure down. And that'll be competing against the first hour low and that volume off to the left from when we had the econ. And yeah. And we have balance, I would say, not trend up or trend down. I would argue for balance at this point. Look at the 40 tick. It's not really, we've retraced both ways, and you clearly have to lose 25,161 to come down and test lower. Again, 3 bars up, that's engulfing bar, down. I can get the engulfing bar algoed if someone needs it or wants it. Bill and I have not been able to make that engulfing bar work as nicely as we wanted to. That's why we don't have it algoed. Because once you have it algoed, you tend to fire on it, and I just can't get it down and trader assist executed in a way that is helping me. So we're trying to figure that out. It clearly works visually. So remember, 02 is where this bar begins. The 1 minute. See that? I'm just trying not to cloud up the chart, but I'll do it if we need to. 1 minute chart 23. The tricky part is making all those pieces flow together in your brain. Notice early we are starting to chop. See this here? They can't figure out which way they want to take it. It's become a battle between people trying to hold this IB low, right? And people trying to push lower through that bar, right? Well, you'll see when it frees up, the PA will free up. right? So this just becomes a little battle zone. That's all that's going on. We held the top of that bar. We got up above that 1 minute bar, and we took off. We're back into. We're now in supernova, and we're in balance. I don't know if someone said something or someone's speaking. Take a quick peek. I don't have anything. Oh, Legrand's speaking again. 9:15. Just FYI. Got the Globex high. And this is a no backtest kind of market. So they're just driving it one way and then driving it the other. Just stay relaxed. We'll get our shot. Okay. We've already gotten a few shots, but you don't have to press whatever she's saying or whatever the comments are coming from. It's fine. This is again where the buyers are trapped up here. Comments from somebody. That's all there is to it, guys. You don't have to feel bad about it or figure anything else. They're just, I don't know where they're coming from, and it doesn't really matter. Right? Just someone said something and we took off. That's all right. That's to that point of control from the high there and between that and first hour high. Okay, so it's just comments. There's not a thing you can do about it. So there's no reason to get upset about it. It's just computers taking the trade. It's all there is to it. They said something and they went, oh, we got to buy it. It's okay. That's all that is computers taking a trade. Okay, if you let it upset you, you will be upset. If you don't let it upset you, you will be fine. Okay, she's obviously making comments and the computers responded to it. Humans don't really trade that way, so it's all right. They're going to come up and try to take love X high, and that's that. I mean, IB high. And here it comes. Dun, da, da. That goes underneath stupid is as stupid does. So she said something, they're like, oh, yesterday we couldn't wait to sell, today we can't wait to buy. And that's how the market works sometimes. And if any of that made any sense to you, you're a wiser person than I am. That's now the biggest 1 minute bar. If you look on your 1 minute chart, you have to get underneath that to go lower. Okay. It's 25,290. Use an extra inch just to wonder who it is that's speaking. Certainly it's not just Legrand. Has the market all tizzied up. Crazy, huh? Anyone have anything? It's unusual to just pop up there. That's what we're doing. Does anyone know who's speaking by chance? 'Cause I don't have it. But someone is. We don't do that for just no freaking reason. And that's exactly what we're doing. It's got to be comments from somebody. I just don't have it. It's frustrating as shit. I can't find what is driving this. The algos to turn on like this. Anyone have anything? Wow. I have no idea. Wish I did. No idea. Straight up. Just sucks. I don't know what drove it. Holy moly. I mean, what a move. I got nobody knows. No one sees anything. I don't believe that was driven from the winds of change. That's bullshit to me. We just rallied 200 points in a straight line. Algos don't work that way. Someone said something. Either the EU or someone. I mean, look at it. That is a non-stop rally with no mercy given. I mean, color me impressed. New highs coming up. Nobody? Nothing? What time do they do it at, Joyce? It's got to be right now. Like, it can't be like 3 hours ago. Holy moly. Come on, someone's got something. I wouldn't short it. I don't know what happened, but I wouldn't short it. Huge. Just huge. Let's see how the Elga's doing. I don't know why that's not firing. All those longs should have fired. Trading's not locked. Okay, I'll figure it out. Up 500 on the NASDAQ. Did I take the whole auction out? Did we take the whole thing? Almost. Not quite there, but they're working on it, aren't they? All the way back to the scene of the crime. Oh, there you have it. Yeah, but we don't have any idea when that was. That's all right, Joyce. You didn't do anything wrong. There's just no way to. I just don't know where the comments are coming from, right? And that's totally fine. Sure wish I knew what drove that. ECB officials say rate cutting cycle is most likely over. Okay, so that makes sense. That wasn't it. I don't know. I did not expect that. But there you go. This is now your guy right there. When they overlap, just go with the last one. Would be my suggestion. And be patient. I'm the worst at it. Be patient. Just let the market come back. Right? And follow your process. Like, no one should have gotten run over there. Right? Not a soul. Unless you took the white bar down, that was it. Right? Unless you took white bar down, that was it. And even then, it gave you 1, 2, 3 bars to get risk off on. Right? It just shouldn't have dissuaded you one way or the other. It was just frustrating to see it go. I would have liked to have had that read and gotten paid off that read. I did not. That is okay. So we are above first hour high. I don't know if that sets us in the trend or what, but yeah. And with regards to being over or under the 100, I don't see anything that set up short when we were under the 100 over here. And then this is over. The algo should have taken green bar up and green bar up. Bill, are you firing? Oh, we're not getting diamonds down is what we're not getting. Got it. I know this. I'm glad I'm not short from yesterday. That I do know. Because that was about pretty freaking tough. Like the amount of bearish people that were there yesterday is mind-boggling. The mind has been boggled. I don't have anyone putting up big volume up here at the top. The biggest guy is this guy right here. But he's not the biggest. It's this guy in the 1 minute, which matched this guy over here, broke out, went up. Yeah. So, anyways, all good for me. I don't mind. I do not mind. They can do what they've got to do. I'll wait patiently. And it is tough when we go in straight V's up and down. I don't like it, but I'm getting better at it. Old dog learning new tricks. There's your diamond down. Slowly pushing down. You have first hour high below you. You have that high volume 5 minute bar sitting at 25,327, right? Which I would expect again a response out of that if we got that. and you're looking for 3 bars down with a diamond for a potential reversal, and it's just slowly grinding there, right? It's hard for me to keep taking longs when we're up 500 points, like, so that's where I have a hard time following the process, I guess I would say. And I am relaxed, right? I got a little stressed over going straight up, but I am relaxed. Okay. I know I have no control over that, and I know every time that guy's on the ECB over there speaking, that I have a more challenging time than I normally do. Right. I'm just gonna stay chilled and in the zone. See why it's doing this, right? Where do you think the market's going to go from here? Like, we're up 467 points, right? So, what's your edge in getting long here if you're an institution, right? Does it mean it can't keep going up? Nope. We just recovered pretty much all of yesterday's down day, right? So, we may just trade sideways here, and everyone may go, well, let's just put let's just put a fork in it and call it a day, you know? I mean, what else can they possibly do, anyways, right? Like, yeah. I'll be right back, guys. Now the market has to sort out what it wants to do, yada, 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 so on and so forth, and then it'll be fine. Okay, is everyone all right? Everyone doing good? See you tomorrow, Dan. And that's how Dan works. From the morning till the afternoon, till mid morning, he looks for those breaks. He knows he's got the best chance of getting price action in there. And yeah. And all he's looking for is this. Da-da-da, da-da-da. This wasn't engulfing. This was points and done. Brian Shannon, that's who it was. Thank you, Brian. Brian Shannon. Yeah, his stuff is good work. In the meantime, snooze-a-thon. And it's long right now. Gotten no scales. Okay, so the dangerous part of this algo, I just want to let everyone know now, while it's on the right side of this curve, see how we're so extended that we could pull all the way back here? It's going to take every algo that fires on the way up. Okay, so I'm just saying so when I distribute it, everyone knows this thing is going to fire on every single algo on the way up after getting diamonds down. And we're so far extended that if I wasn't beta testing it, I would say, hey, turn it off, is what I would say. Okay, I would just say, hey, turn it off. So that's a very important instruction for this. On the trader assist, I would not let it run up 400 points. Okay, I'd wait for a good deep pullback and then turn it back on this one. Okay, it just ran too far, too fast. Okay, and it's going to get sloppy in here, which is exactly what's going on. See what I mean? It's just going to get sloppy in here. Stupid. You just have to wait for it to reset, do whatever it's going to do. It's just chopping. Do not get upset. Don't get frustrated. It may get very, very, very slow. Okay, it may get very, very slow. Okay. And 10 o'clock algo is coming up. Oh, and this is what I would do. This rally's in trouble if this happens. Base. That's the other key, easy way to tell is that 61 retrace, right? There's the 382, there's the 50, there's the 62, and if it flushes that 62, yeah. But you can see there's just no drive left, right? Like whatever drove it, it doesn't really matter. It's just blah, blah, blah. And we're clearly not rotating. So don't sit there and try to trade it. We're not, we just, look at that. You just put a line in between. It's just chopping, right? So let it break down or break out. There'll be plenty of money to be made afterwards. That's all you have to do. See? It's just not doing anything. I don't know if someone's speaking again, not speaking again. I don't particularly care. It's just that's what it is. Okay, so I'm encouraging everyone, Brian, Tommy, Ed, anybody, please don't sit there and chop yourself back and forth. Anybody, me, right? Jason, don't sit there and try to make something work that isn't working. It has stopped rotating for whatever reason, right? And the reason's pretty simple. Everyone's up here going, what do we do? Right? I am too. Because I need to break down or break up. I need to retest something. But I don't want to sit here and keep trying to grab this trade. I'd have to guess here, right? No matter what the algo that fires here, I'd have to guess. Let someone else do the guessing, right? Let someone else do the guessing. Thanks, Nate. Let someone else do the guessing, right? And then everyone else can figure out, oh, it's good or oh, it's bad. Same thing in ES. Look at that. It's just swapping over each other. So I'll wait patiently. It's a long day. Have they dragged the point of control up here yet? They have 30, 25, 310. Guys, I think I'm going to come back after London's closed. I don't see them giving me an edge of any significance here. Like, whatever happened, happened. They squeezed out those shorts, which is great. Or the buyers came in, or whatever term you want to use for what they did. It's just not flowing both ways. Everyone seems like they're trying to figure it out. I don't want to be the one to figure it out. Like, I just don't. It's too hard to play that game. Like I don't see it flowing anymore. We had some ups. I'm up slightly again on the day. And yeah, it's always confusing to me when we roll like that. I can't find any reason why we rolled, which is fine. No one owes me an explanation, but I don't have any reason why we rolled like that. And now we seem to have gone comatose, which I accept as well. I just don't like it. And I don't know what my next step is here in doing things right, you know. Just no fun. Does anyone have any idea of what was actually said? Because this really sucks. Like I can't tell why we're driving trend day up. I just I just can't read it, right? So I don't know if someone's speaking and I should just be like going home for the day. Like I don't see any comments coming across. And the way we're trading is baffling me, right? Like why are we driving so freaking hard? It just really freaking frustrates the crap out of me because I can't put my finger on it. Usually algos do not fire out of the blue for no freaking reason. Yeah, that's what we're doing. 505. Totally. Like it's just like wow. Do y'all even? I'll go check Yahoo Finance. Maybe that's the one thing I'm missing. Well, I guess you had Micron Technology did have good numbers. I guess I've kind of forgotten about that. So that's a truth. The one thing I haven't done is frustrate myself to the point of I can't trade. Right? That's the one thing I have not done, and I'm grateful for that. But I sure would like this to work the way I want it to work, which it was for a minute. Why is it doing this? Oh, that's why it's doing this. There we go. ES is trading all right, too. Now that I look at it. On the turn, on the turn, on the turn, stop, on the turn. It gave you scalpability. We've now been in the highest volume ball in 1 minute. And when's the last time Micron Technology moved the market? Like, dang. Right there. And if you just stay cool, somewhere along the way, it will reveal to me that I can trade it again. Or it won't, and I won't lose any money. It doesn't have to pay me. I'm just trying to say the same thing over and over so I stay calm. There's no obligation on the market's part to satisfy me. That is a hard concept to accept. That would be 3 bars down after going supernova. So hypothetically, that should lift. And it does. And that is enough for Dan, guys. That bar, bam bam, is enough for Dan. I want to make it clear. He's not all like it has to do exactly what I say kind of person. He just isn't. Pretty sure on ES it's the same thing. Supernova, reversal bars back up, tend to lift. So I'll keep an eye on that in ES as well. of the biggest volume bar on top. You have to get underneath. Dun, 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 dun. The bar is hard to see. It's right there. 25.40 to 75. That is the bottom of the volume bar, and the top of the volume bar goes to 12, which is the high of the day. That's the highest volume that was put in up on top. It's on your 1 minute chart if you don't believe me. That's the guy they're going to have to beat. Like, no question about it. Green bar down, out of there. I would make a note of that bar. And every time it does that, when you get an algo outside those high volume bars, I would make a note of it. Every single time. So you can learn what it does out of there, right? Is it scalpable? Is it swingable? Do you get an algo off the 40 tick? Would be something I'd want to know, right? When does the 40 tick give the algo? Like the first thing I wanted to go and do and look is when that reversed. Boink, boink. Like look at the 40 ticks today. On the turns. Boink. Stop. Stop. Right? Rise. 40 tick down. Didn't come up against it yet. And then earlier, when we came into support, on the turn. Right? Learn how they work so you can have some idea of what you want to take and what you don't want to take. Right? So obviously the ones with the dots, right? The ones with the dots seem to work a whole heck of a lot better. Stop up there. Right? That was during that rush. Right? And is that 32 or 24? That is 40. So now it's just observational, right? I know my big volume area now in the 5 minute, sitting right here. 27? Yeah. From here to here. Color. Oh, I mean, that's the outline. Fill. That's where my 5-minute volume is marked, right? Learn how it travels between the two and how you can sew everything together. It'll help you be profitable. It'll help you get less frustrated, right? It'll help you get less frustrated, and then you will have to take time to mentally sync everything up, right? And that may be, by the way, this may be the spring to start the rally back for Christmas. Just FYI, we're up solid and we're not giving it back. Right? They've tried twice to give it back. So I'm just trying to keep an open mind to both sides. We had the biggest, hardest down day and we closed at the low. Everyone freaked out, right? So look at that chart, right? This is what they tried to hold. So obviously this, right, on the way back, they try to hold that area, right? So obviously between that 46 and that 24, right, you've got to get underneath it to be trapped back in, right? So what's up here? This is the next resistance area up here, which is 25,446 to 25,507. Can we get there today? I got no idea, but that's what the story says, and that's the weekly high, right? And behind that weekly high is all of this for a Christmas rally, right? So I am not bearish. I just wanted it. I don't know what I wanted, but I didn't want what we got. But I'm also not in shock, right? I'm also not in shock that we've driven up. I'm just now obviously being bearish would be not make sense, right? We're not underneath anything. Like I can't even, we're not underneath VWAP, we're not underneath the 200, we're not underneath the 100, right? So I just want to see, right? I just want to see the, hold on a second here. Good. I just want to see the thing pull back and give me a good entry because there's no reason on any metric that I have other than wishing, right, that I would have a bearish view on this other than here's the edge, there's the biggest 1-minute volume bar, right? And then if you look as we're coming down, we're putting in also pretty high volume bars to the downside here in terms of relative to the bars around it, right? So I'd like it to come down, maybe form a supernova, come back up, and then give me algos maybe to take out those highs up there. I'm trying to keep my mind balanced, right? I'm assigning a value to that plus 462, and it may be a false value, right? So we're coming back in to test first hour high, right? Right below first hour high is where all the volume is, that 27 down to 88, and the volume point of control of that bar is control is just above 25,307. The bottom of that bar is 25,283. Okay, so from 27 to 07, I marked that. Oh, I know why. So now it's this. Right there. Oh, hold on. There. It's that. And they're pushing right into it. And I would suspect that it holds the first few times. Like, that's not the most crazy thought I've ever had. White bar down, green bar up. You're right on London close. You're going to get a lot of noise. I've broken the swing. So I'm just going by Dan's rules, right? Broke the swing, 3 bars up, algo down. He's looking for 7 to 15 points on those trades, guys. He is not trying to turn that into a swing. He does not do that. Okay? Or if he does it very rarely, right? His methodology is give me my points, let me out. There's 1030. That also coincided with the 1 minute highest volume down in that roll down, right? We're right at the top of that right now. And that was obviously sell pressure coming out of London close, right? Which is fine. And now we'll find out what they did. Do not feel like in a rush. Be on your process. Do not force anything. We are going through this long consolidation here, right? Long consolidation. Now, I'll also tell you in the past couple of weeks, if you will go look when we get these long consolidations, all this thing's going up. Okay, we get up to a high, we go through a consolidation, and we have broken pretty hard off of some of those consolidations. Okay, like this, we do this long consolidation, we get underneath, and it breaks. I know that was into Asia, but it's the same concept. Consolidation, break. Erase that. Where's my little squiggly line? Consolidation, break. Consolidation, break, both ways, both sides of that consolidation, right? So just be aware, we're in a consolidation. I'm open to the market moving either way at this point. So I'm just going to follow my process, right? Dan would say that's your break, your swing, your next engulfing bar or algo down is your short. And yeah, I'm not totally comfortable with it, so I'm taking copious notes because it would be hard for me to short up here. Just would. That bar cannot be engulfing, so it would have to be an algo. It didn't trade on top of it. It would just be bar down. You've broken the swing in ES. So again, in ES, yes, that would be the trade. That's the biggest volume bar in the 1 minute, 66 to 46. But the one thing I keep telling myself is I can wait all day till I get my best setup, right? So we're above VWAP, just trying to keep my brain healthy, right? We're above VWAP, we're above the 100, we're above the 200. Generally, bearish setups do not work great in that scenario, right? The opposite is true, right? So we wanted it to come back to that 5 minute bar. We haven't gotten to it even yet, doesn't have to. And we're waiting for new pieces of evidence to show up. That's all we're doing here. That's it. Yep. That's where that 1 minute bar was, 25,400. And again, at this point, there's just no sellers evident. And once you get out, it's a complete flip from yesterday. I know it's hard to flip your brains when it's already up 500, and that may be okay, right? But no one should be getting run over short here, guys. No one. Very cool, Nate. Yeah, I'm having the same thing, Bill. I am having a hard time trusting the algomatic, but I think it took along here. Should. Yeah, there you go. Got the long in all three. Diamonds down, green bar up, I'll go up. Above all, it's bullish. I mean, there's no negative anything negative about that. It's bullish. And again, this is where it's going to run to that volume bar. So in general, it should struggle getting through here. In general. That, however, is not the same as it will fail here. Double square, double circle off the top in a bullish formation. So we'll see what that gets. If anything, we are not in supernova, right? So let's see what she does if they bring it all the way back. but it rejected. Does everyone see this? Is everyone staying with me on this? Do y'all see this? Right? There's where the 1 minute bar came in, right? At the high. He was the biggest volume. This guy, right, is your resistance. You get above him and you hold above him, you go higher. He's the biggest volume. This guy is your biggest volume on the 1 minute down low. I wanted to get a little bit lower towards first hour high. We haven't done that yet. If you're shorting this, right, the brave soul that you are, you're targeting this or you're using some other method, right? But that is what we are doing. Here, I'll color this. Fill color. And if you relax through it, it won't be nearly as tedious. Make it, I don't know, sky bluish. There, that's the 1 minute resistance right there. And the speed is blah, but the trade is working. Again, back to that 1 minute bar, right? It's got to get over that 10, right? It's got to get over that 10. And they're knocking on that volume. I'm telling you what that is. What you see there is buying that is getting absorbed either passively or actively. But that is what that is. That is where the volume is. Okay, so that's actually getting absorbed. Okay. Hey Siri, call Bill Morgan.
Calling Bill Morgan. Mobile.
Hey, how you doing this morning?
I'm hungry.
You're hungry. I bet you are. You'll be all right.
That's fine. It's all emotional. I mean, not emotional, but it's all psychological.
Right, right. What was I going to ask you? Did you come up with any new observations? The 5 minute really helped this morning significantly, I would say.
The answer is I haven't. I was working with Gemini last night and studying and how I want to look at I'm going to look at trading uh, with the the 100 and the WAP and the 200.
Right.
So I've got to put some rules. They gave me some pretty good ideas. So what is the best one? We know the best one is when price is above VWAP and 100 is above 200.
Right.
That's when we get paid. And yesterday we were below that. Everything was aligned, and it really worked well yesterday also.
Right.
When we got chopped up this morning is when the 100 we got up. The 100 was above, but VWAP was above. So that gives you conflicting information, basically telling you it's probably going to be some type of balanced day. And you add on top of today where we gapped up, but we gapped up within range also, but it's a little different. So how I'm thinking about setting it up is when I don't have them all aligned, with all three aligned, I'm going to say it's going to be pretty much a balanced type of day. And that's where we can use maybe Dan's method or trade the edges with the volume.
Right.
How I got the long off the low today.
Which low?
Just before they announced, but only because they put a volume into the low and I put a green zone there. And I said, if I get it just like this last long, they'll go forward. But I'd had a trader because I put a zone. The reason why I thought it was balanced, I didn't think we are going to go based on what I've read from Gemini, based with the 100 above the 200, which is bullish. But VWAP was giving me just conflicted me.
Have you, when you have a clear mind, go play with it? The VWAP either started in London or Asia, and see if the execution results would be different. Meaning,
No, it would be different because I don't know when it caught up today.
It hasn't.
Right.
It's still it caught up. I'll tell you exactly when. Are you in the room?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here, I'll show you. At 9:16, we caught up, and the 100 never crossed under the 200. It came right to VWAP and fired.
Actually, it finally crossed. Was about 9:30ish.
No, we were up all morning long. We crossed. Yeah.
Let me finish, please.
Oh, sorry. I'm not sure what chart you're on. Just I'm trying to look at what you're talking about.
On the RT
TH. Yeah.
they crossed at basically 9. 30, which gave you the bullish, but I'm assuming Asia said long all the time.
Right.
Right. So it goes back to that art form. What are you trying? What are you trying to do?
Right.
And so if you're trying to become systematic, how do you know when to leave it on Asia and when to leave it and start it at 7 o'clock and start over?
That's why I'm asking you to see what you see, because I'm not sure of the answer. I've been looking at both and trying to figure that out. Asia, the start at Asia or maybe London seems pretty stable by the time we get to the U.S. session. So if you look at yesterday, it was cleaner. Today was cleaner. So I'm not sure is the answer to your question, but more importantly, I'd want to know from a short time frame which one, if there's a standard, which there probably isn't, but if there was a standard,
Brock, see what he just pulls all the crap off. See what Brock says.
Yeah, I'll see. I'll go look. And yeah, other than that, I don't have anything, man. It's just one of those situations where it's just brutal. So
We drove. Now we're going sideways. Now they got to consolidate the gains, or we're going to sit up here. Who knows?
I don't know, but if I don't get any movement, I'll just trust the process and not force my hand. You know.
Yeah, what? Yeah, I mean, trying to integrate the 5 gives you. It comes down to how much can you
Process.
process in your brain.
Yeah. No, it helped me. The 5 minute helped me this morning, today, for sure. Like I saw it quite clearly after watching it for a couple of days. I was like, oh, that's pretty impressive. And same thing with the 1 minute, but yeah, it helped.
The answer is yes to both, but I'm trying to use the guidelines. And I don't get me wrong. I do use the 1 minute. And I use the 5, but more the one, because that's what got me long when we just coming off the low at 920.
Right.
Double square, double dot, double square. I was long off that bar because if you look on the 1 minute, we had a volume bar down to low. So I just put a green box on my zone trader. I said I want to be long that because I was using the 100 to 200 kill me plus the gap that was still bullish. So that's how I got the long. So yeah. So yeah, I think it's coming along. I just don't know how much I want to integrate. I think Dan's method's good. I think it could be integrated off a zone.
Yeah.
Once you understand, you can draw your zone trader on it.
Right.
Or green there, they don't have. If you don't want to execute, or you just execute it manually like he does.
Right.
But I think it's good. I think it's good.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close. Like we really kind of got.
I think this thing's got to be because the game-off trader, the one you did, the one Sean did. I mean, it took the first 3 trades, first 2 off, and the other one got stopped, which is fine. The short got stopped, and the first 3 longs got stopped, maybe scale, and stop. And if you look at those, that's where the 100's above the 200, but but the 100's above, and that's telling me it's kind of like in the neutral zone. It's not telling me it's trending. So that's where we run the problems with this trader. This trader is basically very good at trending, and
Right.
we need them. I think they all need to be in the line, and we have to come up with another trader. So when these things are doing what we were doing, like at 9 o'clock, we need to have we have to trade the edges then.
Okay.
The turn. And that's kind of how I'm thinking, because it all worked. You look at that at 9:01, we had the green bar, green square, blue dot down, that follow through.
Right.
And we had at the low, we got green dot, blue dot down, green square, blue dot down, push down. Then we got the white, blue dot, blue square. Buyers come in, and it just tells you that it's on the edge. And that's why I believe the moving averages that's what it's telling us. And the question is, and VWAP, that's what it's telling us. It's a balanced day. and then so you can trade the edges, and that's where I think Dan's method works the best.
Right.
So I gotta get my head around that more. I think that's where I want to go. Basically, what I've used all my time with Gemini up. So
How much does it cost per month? $30?
I think $20.
Really? Okay, I'll probably sign up for that.
Um,
Gemini's jumped to the front behind, and then Grok, I think, is second.
I still like my Claudia, but I might quit paying for Claudia and go to Gemini. I haven't decided because Gemini is going to go to ads in beginning either January or February. You're going to start getting ads on the free version, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, that's fine. So the paid version would be worth it because I'm gonna sit there every time I ask a question and have it.
It's just like it's just stupid YouTube.
Yeah.
You can pay for that too, but I choose not to.
Right.
But yes, it's. Yeah, I think we're. Yeah, I think we're. Today's. I mean, I'm up what, $238 in 3 months.
I don't understand why because I'm running the same one you are. Can you send me the one you're running, please?
I changed mine
Okay.
yesterday. Like I told you, I changed. The dot is still 24, but I changed my scale. My second scale was 18. I
Okay.
changed it to 15. And I only 10, 15, and I still left. Today I went to 25. But what I did is I moved my stop to break even at 15, and you don't want to do that. That's the reason why I didn't tell you.
No, it's all right. Can you send me that version so I can test it just as it is? Just call it Bill's version.
Yeah, I can do that.
I'd appreciate it.